Let's talk about biblical significance to illegal immigration. A very common trait that you will find with progressive Christians is that they will do everything that they can possibly do to use the Bible, the most powerful book, which is 100% true, to defend breaking the law. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Micah Walquist, and you are watching the Common Sense Report. Welcome back, everybody, to the show. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. As you heard from the intro of today's video, we are going to be talking about progressive Christians using the Bible, aka the most powerful book, which is 100% true, to defend illegal immigration, aka breaking the law. So before we dive deep into today's video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, as it would really help me grow my YouTube channel and be able to reach more and more people every single day. Make sure to hit that notification bell as well, so that you'll be notified every time I post a new video, and so that you can help me reach my very first goal of 1,000 subscribers. So again, if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure to do that now before we get deep into today's episode, as that would really help me achieve my very first goal of 1,000 subscribers. Okay, so if you watch any progressive Christian have a debate with a conservative Christian about illegal immigration, almost every single time you will see that progressive Christian try to use the Bible to defend illegal immigration, as the Bible talks about accepting foreigners, which we're going to get deep into that later on in the video. Let me make it very clear. The Bible 100% does say accept foreigners. Leviticus 19 clearly makes that known. I'll put that Leviticus 19 verse 33 through 34, I believe is what it is, on the screen right here for you to read. So the Bible does 100% say accept foreigners, okay? But it does not say accept illegal foreigners. And again, we are going to get deep into that later on in the video. Okay, so basically, to summarize what Leviticus 19:33 through 34 is saying, all it is saying is basically we should accept foreigners into our land without pushing them back. Guess what, y'all? The United States of America does accept foreigners. The United States of America is made up of over 15% of foreigners that immigrated here legally, okay? So clearly we do accept foreigners. What we will not accept, though, is illegal foreigners or illegal immigrants, as they broke the law to get here. And the Bible clearly would not allow that or would not accept that. And we are going to get into why that is the case later on in the video. Okay, so now let's move on to my next claim for today's episode, which is going to be the fact that the Bible does not accept illegal immigration as a rightful form of immigrating into a different country. So the verse that I think fits this topic the best is Romans 13:1, which I will put up on the screen right here, which is basically saying that we should all be subject to the governing that we have, because that governing was placed by God himself, so that we should all be subject to that governing. So that's that verse. Now let's move on to the next verse, which is going to talk about how each country should have borders that make up that country, and how we should respect those borders as a country. Okay, so now let's move on to the next verse of today's episode, which is going to be Acts 17:26, which I, again, will put on the screen right here for you to see, which basically says how God marked each country's appointed times in history and the boundaries of their lands, boundaries, borders, basically the same thing. So when it says that God created their boundaries, that is talking about God creating borders, okay? The United States of America has a border. We have border laws, and those border laws are to be respected. But under the Biden administration, for 4 years, they opened our borders, and 11 million illegal immigrants were freely let into this country, where they were given free housing, they were given free food, they were given free health care. That is not fair to our own citizens, and they broke the fundamental law that this country has had for a very long time, and that is unacceptable. Okay, it made it an unsafe environment to live in. It made people want to leave. Our crime rates were way high. Okay, so illegal immigration is not a form of immigration that we should ever accept. Okay, if you're coming from a very hard background in your home country and you seriously need to escape your country, apply for asylum in the United States of America, and then you can come in undocumented and it still not be illegal. And when you're in asylum, you can start the process to legally come into this country whenever you're ready to start a new life in the United States of America. Illegal immigration should never be tolerated, as the Bible clearly goes against it, and we should too. Okay, so basically, to sum up everything that we talked about in today's episode, the Bible is very clear about how we should be subject to the current government that we have. Okay, God placed the Trump administration in the United States of America for a reason, and we are to be subject to that. And it also talks about how he placed boundaries or borders to each and every country, and therefore we should respect those border laws, okay? So many presidents from way far back placed these border laws in place. The only president to break those border laws and to open our borders like he did was Joe Biden. And he let 11 million illegal immigrants come in, commit violent crimes, take up the housing market, take up our food, take up our free health care. And that is unacceptable and not fair to our own citizens. And we are not going to let that happen again. Our borders are to stay shut. You are to come into this country legally, like everybody else is. And you will not break the law in order to get into this country. And if you are going through a very hard time in your country and you seriously need to escape, apply for asylum. So the Bible is not for illegal immigration. We do accept foreigners, but we will not accept illegal immigrants or illegal foreigners because they broke the law to get here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like I said at the beginning of this video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, as it would really help me reach my very first goal of 1,000 subscribers and be able to continue Charlie Kirk's legacy, which has been a dream of mine ever since I got into politics. If it weren't for Charlie Kirk, I would not be where I am today. I discovered him a couple years ago and continued to watch him and learn so much about politics from Charlie Kirk alone, and I cannot thank him enough. So subscribing and clicking that notification bell would mean the world to me, so that you will also be notified every single time I post a new video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a very nice night.